Welcome, Wildcats, to week 11. This is social psychology, and today's focus is stereotyping and how it relates to prejudice and discrimination. When we socially categorize, we can certainly lead to group distortions, right? We said we use categorization as an efficiency, but it can lead to distortions. For example, have you ever thought that the group, not your own, but the other group, right? Everybody looks alike. You know what I'm talking about. So I was walking with my friend who happens to be Asian, and I asked her, Lee, when you came to America from Shanghai, do we all look alike? And she says, oh my God, yeah. Well, there's a name for that, okay? It's called the out-group homogeneity effect. And what that means is we tend to believe that members of other groups are more similar to one another than members of our own group. So we don't look alike, but they all look alike. And there's a sociological reason for that, right? So kind of interesting that we do that. Now, also, we also have, when we stereotype people, and they belong to a certain group, we stigmatize them, right? So if you stigmatize someone, that attribute that serves to discredit the person in the eyes of another. So we have formed a label, and it's an attribute, and it discredits them no matter what. In oppositional ethnic identity, defensively will opposes that rejected dominant culture as well. So if you automatically, because they're the other, right, we reject them. Benefits of stigmatizing, as we said last week, might be it protects your self-esteem if you stigmatize another group. But also, as we see, it can lead to certainly disadvantages more than just advantages, right? So as we continue discussing this, social causes. What causes prejudice and discrimination? Well, there's been many theories, especially what's going on today in America, and I give you some readings on that. Some people say it's just a way to justify oppression. So we devalue certain groups, and then we can oppress them. And you need, as we learned in Sociology 1, you need a powerful group to be over somebody. When you're powerful, you have to be over somebody. There needs to be an oppressive group. So we use that. Some people believe in, and you can read about this as well, as I have this in the writing on the platform, the social dominance theory, that always there's going to be, in all societies, one group or groups organized in a hierarchy where one group is going to be dominant all over all others. In contrast, the subordinate groups are going to receive more of society's liabilities. So when we think of poverty and all the inequality with regard to highest criminal punishment, illiteracy, poor health, that all comes about in this social dominance theory. Kind of like when we go back to survival of the fittest. Developing a negative attitudes towards the victims of your harmful acts is another reason is common that we do that. If we dehumanize that person, then we can hurt them, certain. That happened oftentimes. I saw some of the propaganda that was used in Nazi Germany. So if we can devalue the Jew, we can kill him. And by dehumanizing their own victims, the exploiters actually add validity. They don't think of themselves as villains, obviously, but and they can justify everything they do because that person deserves it, right? So that's certainly a way to justify somebody's stereotyping and prejudice and discrimination. Also, if you have intergroup competition, I mean, that can certainly lead to prejudice. Everybody's trying to get the same resources. If there's some sort of realistic group conflict, when groups are competing over the scarcest resources, people start to stereotype. They start to then leads to prejudice and discrimination when there are scarce resources. For example, an Asian moving into an African American grocery store, they might say, "Oh my God, what's going to happen to our resources here? They're taking over." And they consider these kinds of conflicts rational, right? Um, Ethnocentrism, another reason, another social cause. So, scarce resources, social dominance theory, and certainly ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism increases under conditions of realistic group conflict. So, you believe, you take pride in your own ethnicity and think it's better than all others, which certainly is going to lead to further discrimination. It does increase your loyalty, you're in group, but again, that just causes greater conflict amongst the outgroup. So those are just several reasons, social reasons for prejudice and discrimination, and the readings and certainly some of the videos support this as well. All right, thanks and have a great week as we just further looked at prejudice and discrimination. Thanks.